Hello, dear students. I hope you are all fine. Today, we are going to study a very important topic in the unit cell, the unit of life. That is the plasma membrane. I hope you have learned about the plasma membrane in the previous classes. Plasma membrane. In other words, it is also called as cell membrane. Cell membrane. So what is the plasma membrane or cell membrane? So basically, plasma membrane or cell membrane is the outer boundary of the cell. Okay, isn't it? It is the outer boundary of cell. Okay, it is outside the cells. For example, you have the house. Let us understand with the example. You have the house. Outside the house, what do you have? You have outer boundary. What is the function of that boundary? Because you have a boundary so that it can protect your house and the people inside your house. Okay, and there is a gate, and gate will allow only certain people to come inside, go outside. Why certain people? Not everyone is allowed in the houses. Anybody is not allowed because they can damage the house, they can steal your things. That is the case with the plasma membrane also. So plasma membrane also only selects certain things, certain molecules to go inside the cells, and for that purpose it is called as the outer boundary of the cell. Okay, so another thing about plasma membrane is it is selectively permeable. Selectively permeable means that it only allows certain substances to go inside the plasma membrane and exit from it. Okay, so it is selectively permeable. It only allows certain molecules. Allows certain molecules to enter cell. Okay, whatever it is required, based on the requirement, the substances are allowed through the plasma membrane. Okay, another feature of the plasma membrane that you need to know is that it is a universal structure. You might have heard about it, that it is a universal structure. It is a universal structure. What does this mean? What does this mean, universal structure? It means that it is found in all kind of cell types. Okay, it is found in all type of cells. Okay, found in all cell types. The cell, whether it's prokaryote or eukaryote, okay, whether it's prokaryotic cell or it is eukaryotic cell, it is found there. Okay, now let's talk about the discovery of the plasma membrane. About the discovery. So before the electron microscope was discovered, many models of the plasma membrane were proposed. Like there was the unit membrane model, there was the sandwich model, but those models were not explaining plasma membrane perfectly. Okay, they were imperfect in a manner. But during the 1960s, when electron microscope was discovered, only after that we came to know about the true structure of the plasma membrane. And two scientists, mainly the contribution of two scientists, can be appreciated. That is Singer and Nicholson. Singer and Nicholson. Okay, so these two scientists in the year 1972, they proposed a model of the plasma membrane that we call as the fluid mosaic model. Okay, so they proposed fluid mosaic model of plasma membrane. Fluid mosaic model of plasma membrane. What is this model? So in this model, they said that plasma membrane is semi-fluid in nature, or in other words, it is quasi-fluid in nature. Means it is not completely solid, not completely liquid. It is intermediate. Like take the example of the honey. Honey you have seen, it's not completely liquid. It is semi-solid, we can say. So this is the structure of the plasma membrane. The lipids are quasi-fluid in nature, and proteins that are present, they perform the lateral movements. Okay, so this means that it is semi-fluid or quasi-fluid. quasi-fluid in nature. Quasi-fluid in nature. Okay, and here the in this structure, the quasi-fluid structure, proteins perform lateral movements. Lateral movements. Lateral movements. What are lateral movements? What are lateral movements? It is that proteins can go either from left side to right side or from right to left. For example, if these are proteins, they can go towards this side or towards this side. This is the lateral movement. This is shown by the proteins. And why they show? Because the plasma membrane is semi-fluid in nature. That is why. Okay. So now let's talk about the structure of the plasma membrane. So structure of the plasma membrane. Structure of plasma membrane. So plasma membrane, if we talk about, mainly it is composed of three components. That is, tell me beta. Yes, mainly lipids. Then there are proteins. And what is the third thing that is present? It is the carbohydrates. Carbohydrates. So if we talk about the lipids, what are the lipids that are found here? In the NCERT, it is mentioned that phospholipids are found. Phospholipids are mainly present in the plasma membrane. So if we see the structure of a phospholipid, for example, this is a phospholipid, it is composed of head, and then there are two tails. There are two tails. This is a phospholipid. Okay. So what is interesting about this structure, that the head, this is the head. The head is hydrophilic in nature. Head is hydrophilic. Hydrophilic. What is hydrophilic? What is hydrophilic? It is water loving. It is water loving. Water loving. Okay. And what about the tails? Tails are hydrophobic. Okay. Hydrophobic. Hydrophobic is water repelling. Okay. It is water repelling. Water repelling. That is why the plasma membrane, inside the plasma membrane, the tails are towards the inner side. The heads are towards the outer side. What is the outer side? Outer side, it is the aqueous medium. Okay. Heads face the aqueous medium and the tails are buried inside. Okay. So they face aqueous medium. Aqueous medium. Okay. So what is this? This is the head and these are the tails. Okay. Another thing about the head is that it is polar in nature. This you have to remember also. Head is polar in nature. It is hydrophilic, but also polar. And tails are hydrophobic and they are also non-polar. Non-polar. They are non-polar. Okay. So this is about the phospholipids. Remember, head and tail. Head is hydrophilic and tails are hydrophobic, means they repel the water. Okay. डरते हैं पानी से. And hydrophilic means water loving. That is why they are towards the outer side. Okay. Now let us talk about the second structure, that is the proteins. Okay. The proteins they can be integral, means inside the plasma membrane. They can be integral. Okay. Means they are buried inside the plasma membrane or lipid bilayer. Okay. And they can be the peripheral. They can be peripheral, means they can be towards the outer side. Okay, we will learn about those. And what about the carbohydrates? Carbohydrates are always in the conjugated form. Okay, they are in conjugated form either with lipids or the proteins. Okay, with proteins they can be glycoproteins, and with lipids they can be glycolipids. Okay, and remember the proteins, they are always toward the outer side wise. Okay, toward the outer face of the plasma membrane. So the carbohydrates are toward the exoplasmic phase. This is important. Not towards the cytosolic phase, but towards the exoplasmic, extracellular, we can say. Okay, so this point is important, you have to remember. So these are the three components that are present in the plasma membrane. Okay, and if we take example of the red blood cell, okay, red blood cell of humans, what is the composition? The composition is that proteins are almost 52% and lipids are 40% inside in the RBC. And this composition can vary according to the cell type. For example, in the neurons, this composition can be different. In other cell, this composition can vary. Okay, so it is not fixed, but for a cell, it is always fixed. Okay, so this is the composition. Okay, now let us talk about exact structure of the plasma membrane. Okay, I will draw the structure here. You can see the lipid bilayer. Let's draw the lipid bilayer. Okay, so in the what is in the lipid bilayer, we have the phospholipids. Okay, the bilayer is formed by the phospholipid. So this is a phospholipid, head and two tails, isn't it? Is this it is the structure? Yes, this is the structure, and we can. There are many such structures inside the plasma membrane. So they are joined together end by end. So this forms complete. They are joined end to end like this. I will quickly duplicate these structures so that we can save some time. Okay, so this is one layer. Okay, there will be another layer, yes, because plasma membrane has lipid bilayer. Okay, so it has lipid bilayer. So this is our next layer. Yeah, these are two layers. So plasma membrane is lipid bilayer. I will write here. This is lipid bilayer. Now, what is inside this lipid bilayer? First, let's talk about the proteins. Okay, the proteins can be peripheral. For example, here, they can be here. This is the peripheral protein. Okay, they can be here also. Yes, they can be here also. This is the peripheral protein. Next kind of protein is that it can be embedded in the plasma membrane like this. So this protein is integral protein. Okay, another protein, they can span the plasma membrane. For example, this is the structure. It is spanning the plasma membrane like this. Like this. Okay. So these are the transmembrane proteins. So I will label one by one. First, let's talk about the, okay, this is the peripheral protein. Peripheral protein. Okay, and what is this? This is the integral. This is the integral protein. What about these proteins? These are transmembrane proteins. Transmembrane proteins. Okay, and remember students, this phase, okay, this is towards the this phase is the exoplasmic phase. Okay, this phase is the exoplasmic phase. I will write here. This is the exoplasmic phase, and the other phase towards the, this is the cytosolic phase, towards the cytoplasm. Cytosolic phase. Okay, so now we have talked about the proteins. These are the proteins. They can be peripheral, they can be integral, they can be transmembrane proteins. And what is the another structure? Another structure is the lipid. Okay, the lipids, for example, lipids can be conjugated with the proteins. For example, this is the protein. Lipid is conjugated here, like this. Okay, and sorry, the carbohydrate is conjugated with the lipid. Okay, so if the protein is conjugated with the carbohydrate, we call it as the glycoprotein. This is the glycoprotein. glycoprotein. Okay, so this can also be glycoprotein like this. Okay, if here they are present, these are also glycoproteins. Okay, now about the another kind of the carbohydrate, that is the glycolipid. So this is the lipid, this is the lipid. If carbohydrate is attached to the lipid, we call it as the glycolipid. So this is the glycolipid. Glycolipid. So remember, the glycoproteins, glycolipids, they are towards which phase? Only towards the exoplasmic phase outside. Okay, towards the cytosolic phase, they are not present. Okay, and depending on the ease of extraction, the protein can be peripheral or integral. Peripheral proteins, they are towards the outer side of plasma membrane. They can be easily extracted. Okay, so they are easily extracted. Okay, without damaging the plasma membrane, they can be extracted. But these transmembrane proteins, they are not easily extracted. They need plasma membrane to be broken if we want to extract. Okay, so this is complete structure of the plasma membrane. Now, what are the functions of the plasma membrane? It helps in the transport of substances. So it is a medium of transport. Okay, there are transported proteins, there are carrier proteins. Diffusion also takes place through the plasma membrane. Okay, next function is that it also helps in the cell growth. The cell grows because of the plasma membrane, because it is flexible structure. Okay, and another is that it also helps in the cell division. Another function is that it also helps in the secretion of substances. Okay, for example, endocytosis, exocytosis is there, phagocytosis we can say. Okay, so these are the functions of the plasma membrane. Okay, so I hope you have understood everything. We'll see you in the next session. Take